Hello, everyone, and welcome to Invitation to Puzzles, where I'm going to start a little mini-series where I'm going to do some of my favorite puzzles that my students have submitted that are very appropriate for the series. To start with, we have EMCK's puzzle Kropki Madness. So these dots will be familiar to you if you've seen much of the channel before. So along a black dot, one digit needs to be double the other, and along a white dot, the digits need to be consecutive. So you could do 6 and 7 here, for example. The order does not matter, so it can go in any order at all. And so let's get started. So the first thing I see is these strings of black dots. And so the only sort of numbers that you can do on a black dot are 1, 2, 4, 8. You can do sort of any two of those that go next to each other, or you can do 3, 6. But because 3 and 6 are sort of stranded by themselves, none of these can be 3, 6. So these are all members of the 1, 2, 4, 8 cult. And one thing about the 1, 2, 4, 8 cult that's important is that you can never put a 1 or 8 in the middle. Because, of course, if I put an 8 here, it would make both of these 4. If I put a 1 here, it would make both of them 2. That seems very bad. And so that has given me some 2-4 pairs, one in this row and one in this column. So just a reminder as to what that means. Because both of these cells in row 5 are either 2 or 4, one is 2 and one is 4, and no other cell in this row can be 2 or 4. And so what that means is that these 3 cells, which consist of 3 consecutive numbers, well, they can't be 2 or 4, but that means they can't be 1 or 3 either, because if one of them was a 1, it would need to go next to a 2, and if one of them was a 3, it would need to go next to a 2 or a 4. So these are actually from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But what's very nice about that is that these 2 digits are on black dots. And so they cannot be 5, 7, or 9, actually. They can only be 6, 8. That's because half of 5 is 2.5, which is going to be hard to squeeze into a Sudoku grid. And double 5 is 10, which is going to be equally problematic. So these, in fact, have to be a 6, 8 pair, and that means the digit that goes between them has to be a 7. Okay, so that's nice, and it buys us that, well, 8 goes with 4, and 6 goes with 3, so we can mark these as being a 3, 4 pair. And then what's left in the box is a 1, 2, 5, 9. Let's see. I'm at least positive that this digit can't be a 1. Because I don't know where, but one of these numbers is definitely a 2, right? This is either 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8. There's always a 2 in here, and placing a 1 here would make this a 2. That doesn't work. Likewise, making this a 1 would make that a 2. That doesn't work. While I'm saying things of that nature, why don't I also note that this digit definitely isn't 1? Because if this digit was 1, both of these would be 2. And likewise up there. Okay, what is left in the universe of this row? Because we've used all the even digits, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And we've also used 7, so we've got 1, 3, 5, and 9 are my digits that are left. But these two both can't be 9, because they're next to a 2, 4. Let's see. I don't quite see what I'm doing with that yet. Probably worth looking at this, actually. This digit can't be a 2. Because if this digit is a 2, then one of these is a 1. But one of these is also a 1, and that's too many 1s to put in the box. So we should not do that. So instead, this is not a 2, it's a 4. Which means that these are a 2, 8, and these are a 3, 5. That looks up and makes that a 2. which makes these a 1, 4. These can no longer be 2 or 5, so these have now actually become a 1, 9 pair in the column, meaning that these aren't 9 in the box. And the remaining digits in this column, one of them seems to be an 8, which would better go here, because if it went there, I'd put a second 4 in the box. And one of which is the other digit, which I will think of any day now. It's a 6, which means that that is a 3. And now that is actually going to sort out this 4, 8, 6, 3 business going on over here. So there's a 2, 8. There's a 1, 4. That's a 5 and a 2. Okay, so now this digit is just an 8 because we've noted it's not a 1 previously, and now we see it's not a 2 or a 4 either. So that's an 8, which makes that a 1. Oh, I could have also said this. No, I couldn't have said that couldn't be 2, but I mean, it turns out it is 2, actually, I guess. Never mind. So I definitely could not have said that. Let's see. So that goes 8, 4, 2. Okay, and we get these. Okay, so we've got some dots now to address. Like this 5 dot into here can't be a 4, so it's got to be a 6. 2 is not consecutive with 5, so this had better be a 3. 4 is not consecutive with 1, so this had better be a 5. And now that's a 9 and a 1, making that an 8. Very nice. Okay, so what are these two digits? Let's see, we still need a 7 and a 5 in this box in some order. We'll deal with that later. This 2, I see, only goes with a 3. It's a 7, 9 over here. This 2, actually, very nicely, it only goes with 1 because 3 is taken, which then makes that a 2. This pair of black dot digits can't be from 1, 2, 4, 8 because all of those are gone, so this is 3, 6. But 3 can't go here because conveniently there's a 2, 4 over here. And 3 would have to go with a 2 or a 4. So that's a 6, that's a 3. Makes this a 5 or a 7. 3 can't go with 2, so it has to go with 4. This is a right-in by the row. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6. This for the row is 7 or 9, or I guess is the left. That's everything. This 3, 6 argument that I said it's not 1, 2, 4, 8, so it has to be 3, 6. I can actually make that argument even with just the 1, 2, 4. This has still got to be 3, 6 because using a lone 8 is not going to help. So this has also got to be 3, 6 because of the things it sees. Which I see sorts out this 4 because 4 could have gone with 3 or 5, but now it can't go with 3 because the 3's up there. So that's a 5. Let's see. 3, 2, 4, 6, 5, 7. I don't think I know about that. Let's see. This digit is a 5 because it goes with a 4. This digit is a 5 because it's not a 3 and it goes with a 4. That did some nice stuff. So this is 4 or 6. Oh, and it's not 6, so it's 4. That 5 now has seen down here. Thank you, Sven, for these. Okay. This row, I see that I've used every even digit except 8. And so the even digit on this white dot must be an 8, and it must go there. So these are a 7, 9, and I know the order. That's the 9 for this row. For what it's worth. And an 8 over there somewhere. I'm running out of clues, I suppose. Let's see. What am I going to do to finish this off? So I've got... It looks like a 1 and a 2 left in this column, which I don't think is immediately helpful. This is either a 2 or a 7, because the only available digit that goes with 3 is 2 because 4 is taken, and the only digit that goes with 6 is 7, but that doesn't feel that useful. Oh, the correct thing for me to do is to fill in row 2 here. That's much better. So row 2 here is missing a 5 and a 9. And I know that order. The 7 and the 5, which sorts out the 2, the 3, and the 6. This 5 can't go with a 4, so that's got to be a 6. Let's see. So now within this column, we have a 1, which goes there, and the other thing, 4, which goes here. So that's a 3, because it can't be a 5. We have 5 and a 3 over here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, these are 7 and 8. This is a 7 or an 8. I see Sven pointing out that I have a 2 and a 1 over there. Thank you, Sven. Let's see. Okay, so this is a 7 or a 9, and it sure is. So is this. Let's see. This row, we need a 7, 8, and a 1. The 1 goes here. This is apparently the other 7, 8 for the row. So for the box, this is a 4. Well, let's see. Over here, these are a 3, 6, and I know the order, thanks to that 3. Okay, we've got 3, 4. There's a 5 down there. One of these is a 2, and it's that one. One of them's an 8, and it's that one. That sorts out all of that over there. And we've got just a handful of digits left. One of these is a 1. One of them's a 9. Let's see. That gives me the 7 and the 9 up here. Gives me the 7 and the 6 down here. Very nicely done there on this puzzle. This is a very nice little journey. I really, really like the 2-4 pair into this triple of white dots with the black dots having to work like that. That is a very nice puzzle overall. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be back soon with more puzzles. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.